So,
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Coach Elaine, and I'm here with Lotte. We are going to have a conversation that I hope is going to enlighten or bring some insight into the relationship between where my expertise draws fitness into this transformative work where Lotte's experience as an author of Life After Bullying and a trauma therapist in helping people break through their past is really correlated. So it's an honor to be speaking with you, Lotte. I'm really excited about this. This is our second talk, actually, Work Out the Bully Part 2.
right.
And I want to particularly have this conversation bridge one of the quotes that you said from our last conversation when I sort of asked you, where was fitness in your personal story of transformation and what role did it play? So I'm going to start with this quote that you said, "I would work out to please people. I used to be overweight to hide myself. I tried one diet after another diet after another diet, and it was all about who I believed I was and who I believed I should please."
Yeah.
And so I think that's a wonderful segue. Tell me a little bit more about that time in your life when you thought who you were was who you were and how that shifted.
Yeah. Yeah. I truly believe that I was that person that was very quiet. I actually hardly had a voice back then. I was what you would call introvert. I was hiding out. I had a lot of social anxiety. And I realized one of the way I was hiding out was actually putting on weight and also using colors, a lot of colors, bright colors on my clothes. So you could see the clothes, but you didn't see me. So some of the ways I was hiding. And yeah, I tried a lot of diets and none of them worked. And I don't think it was about the calories, but it was about my whole body wanting to hide. So it wasn't ready to release it. It didn't, I had to feel good about myself before I could release the weight.
Mm-hmm. Who was hiding?
So that the one that was hiding was the one who was bullied, the one who had a lot of low self-esteem and did not believe anyone would like me. And definitely the one who did not want to get hurt again.
Yeah. So she was hiding to protect herself
Exactly.
from the bully. Yeah.
So, and when I raised my own self-belief and self-esteem, then I transitioned into someone else that I could not see back then. So today I'm actually much more networking, I'm speaking, I'm more outgoing. Like my husband would say, "You're so fun looking at you, like you're so different." And it's true, I am. I'm so much more outgoing and my voice is much louder. And yeah, I'm not hiding anymore. I don't need to do diets and stuff because I have the weight I love and it's just natural. And that's just simple. I had let the true me come true instead of the one that was embedded on me to who I should be or who I was bullied into believe I was.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you gave us a sort of a picture of the before and after. Actually, it's not like those pictures in fitness where you actually see people in a bikini or in their underwear before and after. But this is a real psychological experience, a neurological shift. And so the explaining of it, and I'm sure what a blessing for your husband to have gone through that journey with you, right?
Oh,
To
yes.
actually be there through the before and after, to see it. But I know it didn't happen overnight. So let's go back a little bit and talk about, so when you were choosing diets, because you actually wanted to protect the bully or protect yourself from the bully, right? You're inside, you're trying to hide. So why would you choose a diet when technically diets help you shed the weight to, um, literally be revealing more layers underneath? So why did you choose diets? And
So I chose diet because when you're overweight, you should diet, shouldn't you? That's kind of how you hear. So that's what you get from the outside, is that when you're too fat, you've got a diet, like, and I believe that's when you get all of these yo-yo diets. Like, you look at people, you're too much, you have to lose the weight, you do everything. I tried a lot of different diets, and as soon as you get down some weight, you put it back on, because you have you have a struggle between what you believe you should do from the society and the internal that wants to hide and protect. So these two things are struggling. So that's one part, is you struggle really to lose the weight, and when you lose it, it comes back on so quick, and even more, because the body still have that need of protecting, and that's much stronger than the diets.
So who you were being to diet was different than who was in you at your core, being to protect yourself from the bully. And that inner being of you was more powerful than who you were being to please society and what you should do if you're labeled overweight and all of that stuff.
Yeah, because when we're traumatized, the body have like the trauma memory. That's the only thing that the trauma memory wants, is to protect you from getting hurt. It comes out with protecting in fat. It comes out if you want to speak and you're standing up and you close down, because your body remember when you had that situation at school where you were laughed at. So it don't want to go up there speaking. So it's going to do everything for you to protect yourself. And it's exact same thing with the diet.
Right. So one thing that you mentioned kind of offline when we had some conversations is about a moment with a physical activity that was actually a catalyst for shifting out of this tension and out of this conflict. So you're not yo-yoing back and forth between diets, or even between the two parts of yourself. And can you tell us about that moment when you're on the ledge that actually was a physical performance activity that your body had to go through, but there was a lot of mental exercises going on. There was a lot of emotional experiences.
Yeah. So I tracked back a couple of weeks before that exact event happened, because I was on a trip with my fiance, and he really wanted to do paragliding, and I did not want that. But he was like, this is going to be so fun. We're going to do it together. And back then, as I had such a low self-esteem, I was really okay, because I want to please him. And I also want to have the some experience with him. But I did not dare myself to say, no, I don't want to do that. So in that weeks up to, I had this internal struggle a lot, because I did not, I could not get myself to say no because of my low self-esteem. So I was, so part of that was pleasing him. So finally we went to take this, and it was a 4-day training. And on the third day, we went up to the mountains, and 1K up, you have to you have this leash. And when you're standing, open up your paraglider. It's like kind of a parachute, but you're just running it up. And you can see 50 meters in front of you, and then there's nothing. And when there's nothing, there's like this 1K down. So standing there and putting out the paraglider and taking that leap of faith to pull it up and to start running, because when you start running, you cannot stop. And at one point you'll be in the air, and there's just one way down. So that moment of standing there and then having to start and pull that off, that was really when I took a leap of faith. And that's Europe, not only for me, but for my boyfriend and I, but also to really, that was one of those breakthrough moments for me, like showing myself, yes, I can. So we did that several times. For that first time was like the biggest breath, go through, and then run. So and making that little shift about, yes, you can do that. You're not only stupid. There's things you can actually do.
Yeah. So take me back a little bit. I want to kind of talk about a little bit of the internal relationship or dialogue. I can see you, being up there and dealing with anxiety.
Oh, yes.
Maybe, I mean, were you dealing with any doubt of like, oh my gosh, am I giving more power to the pleaser in me that just wants to please the other person? Or, as you said, there was more power coming from the core of you that just wanted to protect you from being hurt again. So there must have been a win for the core of you that decided, this isn't going to get me hurt. There's something in here where I feel safe enough or secure enough, because you call it a leap of faith, not a leap of fear.
Yeah. And
so what happened? Yeah, tell me a little bit about how, that internal, and probably happened, in a very short period of time, but how did the core of you win in some ways to help you take that leap of faith? What was that for?
I think what really helped up is that there was this 4-day training, and the first day we were only running on the ground. So they had this slope that was not steep enough so you could fly, but only so you could run and have the paraglide up. So you're kind of controlling it, but on safe level. So we spent like kind of the first day in that. And the second day we had like just a little steep where you kind of, it didn't feel like you would go so high, but then when you were up, you actually went 50 meters up or something like that, like 150 feet. But it didn't feel like that when you started. You didn't know you were kind of going that far up. So I think those small ones where it felt okay and you could trust the process and you learned how to do it and how to land, that was kind of where I think made it enough for me to say, okay, I'm going to take this leap of faith. Even I had a lot of anxiety. So in reality, what really happened was that I was able to tame the anxiety and do something that at that point was for my husband, but also for me.
Yeah.
And
that's key.
It started to get even more for me, because otherwise I would not have done it.
Right. That's what I was trying to get at. You developed the foundation for you that was supported by that environment that took you through safety first.
Yes, and the trust in my husband, the belief in him, or my fiancé back then, but now my husband, of 25 years this year. But his faith in me and his belief was also a big part of carrying me through. Mm-hmm. Because without that, I would never have done that.
Right. And you moving at the speed of trust.
Yeah.
So it's like it takes a village, right? There's a support system, but the support system can't do it for you. So there's you moving at the speed of trust and creating, well, not creating, but noticing, okay, I feel safe. There's still anxiety here, but I have safety now. And I'm bringing this back up because one of the things you told me about the RIM work that you do is that you really make sure there's safety involved before you go what you called maybe going deep. But as a metaphor to this experience you had, it's lifting people up and what I call in my work the vibe method. It's like up leveling their vibration.
Yeah, and you definitely do that with the RIM as well. But yeah, the core in RIM, regenerating images and memory, is like really to have that trust and safety. Safety is so important. And as you say, the support of other people is important too, and you have support of your facilitator. But the trust have to be internal. So you have to feel that you're safe in the moment.
Yep. Clearly. That's internal, what in that experience you had.
Yeah.
Because if you look outside and you see that drop, that's not
oh no.
Safety, right? Oh my goodness. This is really beautiful. As we speak this, what I'm hearing is that if transformation, if shifting people's relationship with trauma, as you say, breaking free of the past, can be proven, right? If you can actually create the conditions and make sure people have an understanding of, well, if you're ready and you want to do this, make sure you have safety and you move at the speed of trust. Internally, you trust yourself. And like we have these proven, and if anybody is watching, please comment and let us know if in your own personal experience with transformation, where was safety involved and how did that help you shift? And where were you reclaiming trust for yourself that helped shift you that next step into that big leap of faith, to be able to take that leap? Because I think that if we could actually understand the critical elements or the essential elements of transformation, then we just need to make sure that we create the environments, right? Just like the paragliding company did. I'm sure that the reason that they had you progress from a flat surface to a little bit of a level, I'm sure that that was thought out, right?
And I bet.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you, I know in your book, Life After Bullying, you talk a lot about what your personal story is. But tell me how you take elements of your personal story and connect with clients that you're supporting in either releasing trauma, breaking free of their past. So you relate to what they're going through and make sure safety is involved. Make sure that you're either noticing when they're trusting themselves and ready to take that leap of faith. How do you how do you work with clients? Tell me what it is that you do in relationship to guiding them from who they think they are into who they really are.
Yeah, so the subtitle of my book is 3 Steps to Inner Peace. And there's 3 big steps, main steps. So there's, of course, there's a lot of sub-steps as well. And the first step is really to hone in on who are you today? Like, where are you right now? And get you ready to start. I say that build the foundation. So that's not, it's like finding a platform to stand on. Like, where are you? What? Because for me personally, when I was bullied, I could hate that, and I really pushed all the blame on my teacher and my classmates and other people who bullied me throughout my life. It's all their fault that I'm feeling this way. But when we say that, there's no way that we can start changing because we're just blaming others. So regarding that, this is not good. I don't say that because bullying is bad. If you have experienced rape or incest or anything, other kind of traumas, of course, that should never happen. But it have happened. So when you are blaming, you are actually preventing yourself from being able to heal. So taking that internal look at yourself and saying, okay, they did that to me and that's wrong. But right now, this is who I am, for me, that was who I am with low self-esteem, social anxiety, no voice, all of that. So taking inventory of who I am and say, okay, this is something I have, and also finding out I actually have some things that I'm good at, and realizing that, and start honing in on what you can do from this place already. And when you do that, then you take the next step and you can start saying, what is it I really want out of my life? What is it I want to change? So that's more in the goal setting, and what is it that I really want? Because that's a energizer to change. I'm sure that that's in fitness too. If you really want something, then setting up a goal that we know what we want to move towards, make it much easier to move. And then the
Yes,
third
but the
part is that,
difference, well, I'm going to pause you for a second. The difference in what you said about fitness that I'm noticing is just who people in fitness are not asked, who are you today?
no,
Right? It's like the fitness consumers come in, whether it's to a gym or it's a program that they're buying online at midnight, or it's an infomercial, or it's a trainer.
yeah,
And they actually say, I want my body back when I was 20. They go back into who they like were. Their mindset is not accepting of who you are today. And in fitness, most of the times, we as professionals, I include myself, we don't question where their desires are coming from, who their desires are coming from. We just take them at face value and go, okay, you say you want to lose 20 pounds. You say you want a six pack. And we don't question who is saying that.
no,
And if the bully inside of them is saying that, or the pleaser inside of them is saying that, the low self-esteem inside of them is saying that, then we're actually feeding that part of them.
exactly. And that's so many programs, they start at the goal setting and like the purpose.
Yes.
But if you don't have that foundation and that deep desire to change, it's very easy you skip those goals.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's the second step. You really want to be so tuned in on, I want to change. So what is it I want
Yes.
to do? And it's not for pleasing other people. It's not for pleasing my coach.
Right.
It's not for pleasing my boyfriend. It's not for, you're doing it for you.
Right.
Because unless you do it for you, and part of me also wanted to change because I want to give up something else for my kids. So they were a deep driver for me as well. But I wanted to change for me because I was sick and tired of who I was. And so when you can get to that state, you really say, I want to change. I want to do something else. So what is the next goal that I can see out there?
Right.
And when you have a goal, something that you want to drive for, then my third part is a lot of different tools, the rim, tapping, letting go, a lot of things that you can experience with to really help whenever those limiting beliefs comes up. And also when I work with a client, we can go really, really deep and change that cellular memory that was traumatized, so that we change it from the trauma memory to that normal memory that's no longer affecting you and no longer have to protect you.
Right. Right. And now that person is operating from who they know themselves to be, both the traumatized part of themselves and the innocent part of themselves, so they can hold space and make a conscious choice that they want some change, that they want some support for that part of themselves that is operating in the trauma state.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas the person who's not operating from being able to hold all parts of themselves is probably not going to want or have a conscious choice to change the trauma. And it's like neurologically, we're wired into patterns, into grooves in our brain that just keep going unconsciously. And that's where the challenge is, to stop those patterns or slow them down. The person their psyche has to be aware enough, has to accept who they are, the good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty, all of it.
And all of that shapes us. So what I experience for myself and what I hear from a lot of my clients is when they come to a point when they really start healing, they also notice that who they are is shaped by all of the experiences. So today I would not be without that experience, because who had I then become? And now I actually love who I have become, and I love the work that I can help other people because of my experience. So when we get to that point, then it starts getting easier to forgive, and it starts getting easier to really live your life to the fullest.
Yeah, because you've been lifted up. The vibration you're working at, right, is a lot closer to love vibrations versus guilt and shame and fear and worry and anxiety.
Love and joy.
Yes.
All of that. Yeah.
You know, what's interesting, as you talked about how you're shaped by your experiences, in fitness, as a coach, I hear a lot of people when they talk about their shape, they're just talking about their physical shape.
Yeah.
Right? They talk about the shaping of their thighs or their butt or their arms or their abs. And if I can just encourage people to include this shaping, this neurological shaping that actually has you more powerfully than the shape of your legs or your arms. This experiential shaping that internally is driving your decisions, you know,
but also the decisions in fitness, because for me,
and decisions in fitness.
I love doing fitness today, and I love experiencing things and new challenges and try out some things. But it's not about shaping my body. It's because I'm different inside. So I do it for the fun and for the experience, and sometimes also to raise myself up to the next level. Like when I got 50, I heard about a 50K race. I never did a race before. And it started at sunset, and you ran throughout the night. And that was just an experience, but it was the experience I wanted. It wasn't about winning. It wasn't about all of that. So I trained to it. And yes, I never got to the shape where I could run 50K, but I ran about the first 30, and then the next 20 was more walking. Also because I didn't realize that when we started, when I was usually going to bed. So I was really tired. But the experience, but also the goal was to finish, not winning. So you had a totally different for that. There was the experience and just seeing, can I run through the night and what's going to happen? And so it got to be an experience. And it's not about my size or my arms or how it was shaped. It's just about me feeling good inside.
It's coming from a different place, right? It's
Totally.
coming from that part of you, as you mentioned to me before, wants to know, what can I do?
Yeah.
And it's as if this part of you is saying, it felt so good to feed this confidence back into me, right? That I want more of that, which feeds my confidence and feeds my self-esteem and feeds my courage muscles and feeds my pride muscles of like putting myself out there, showing up and having an experience that will test my personal
limits, maybe.
Yes, and that sense of who you are, that is in integrity with who you want to be versus who you are based on trying to please others or how that was shaped by trauma, right? And I love that your relationship with fitness has a before and after. You can relate to people that choose diets coming from that place of being a victim to bullying or to any kind of trauma where they're choosing based on needing external validation or even protection for that pain inside of themselves, and how you went through your breakthrough, and you have an experience of, like, you didn't have to let go of fitness, but you're choosing differently.
I'm coming from a place now of feeling good about myself and having fun. And so I think when we feel good about ourselves, when we have a high self-esteem, and really we want to do things that feed how we're feeling, our energy level, how it's just like forming us, instead of coming from, I should do that because I want to be slim, or I want to look like the magazine, or I want to. So it has nothing to do with all of that. It's all about to just feel good and energized.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's so beautiful. I guess one last question.
Sure.
I know you said you wouldn't, you don't regret your past, you wouldn't take it away. But if you could go back to the self that was who you believed you were, who was doing things to please others, what would be one thing that your current self would say to that part of you?
Yeah, and in the room, I actually been going back and talking to myself. And the definitely the one thing I would say is that everything is going to be okay, and this experience is going to give you a life that you never dreamed about, a life that can help not only me but also my clients. And I love my life today. So, and who would I have become without this? So I will really just encourage, it's going to be all right, and you're going to live a life that you deserve because of everything that just happened for you.
You're giving me chills. That was beautiful. If you're watching this, I invite you to ask yourself that question. If you are where you are today and you notice you want to accept that you are in a place where maybe you're choosing things out of a traumatic cellular memory, no, it's okay. Where you are is right where you are. And how could this experience be providing some meaning for you that will support you in having a life operating at a higher vibration, but that you can't get there without this experience and understanding the meaning and the purpose behind it. And then I want you to reach out to Lotte and schedule your RIM session.
Thank you. And yes, I want to add one more thing. Start celebrating the small wins. It's not about the big wins. I had a lot of small wins over my years. And the small wins took me to be able to do bigger wins. So start celebrating the small wins and really owning, even if they seem stupid and so small. No, I can't mention that. Still, it's a win, and really tune in on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And thank you for this conversation.
Thank you.
As it continues, and I celebrate the work that you continue to do to help others. Let's just let people know where they can find you. So whether it's a website or social media.
Yeah, so you can find me at Lotte Vesterli, LOTTEVESTERLI.com, or you can go to my website, lifeafterbullying.com. And you can learn much more about me. And or if it's more fitness, then go to Elaine and learn more about her wipe methods, which is also great.
Yes. You can find me at Coach Elaine on Instagram, Coach Elaine on Facebook, and CoachElaineWilliams.com on the interwebs. Thank you lots so much. It's been an honor, a pleasure. Look forward to the next one.
Yeah, it's always fun to have this chat with you. So thanks.